We'll see NLP basics and sentiment analysis today. So again, as I told you yesterday, that we need to download all this like only for the first time. So uncomment it, execute it, and comment it out. Next time we don't require this, whatever that is in commented part. I already downloaded it, so I don't require it now. So even text blob and also you need to download it. And these things again you need to install or whatever, execute as it is. So open terminal, this part open terminal and execute this. Whereas this one, you don't require to open terminal, you can execute right here itself. Whenever you see exclamation mark, it means that terminal based. So execute in terminal. Some case it can execute right here, but some case it may not work. That's the reason I'm telling you. So if you can able to execute right here, that's fine. You can uncomment and execute right here itself, but in some case it doesn't work. That's the reason I'm telling you that to execute in terminal. All right, so here we have replace that we can replace certain text in a, in a sentence or whatever the document or corpus, and it's going to replace with that particular word, and you can keep chaining it. So this is going to be whatever the output that we get from here is going to be the input for this one is going to change. It's like in this case, I'm trying to change USA to United States of America and UK to United Kingdom. So after this is going to go get like this, United States of America and United Kingdom. So there was no overlap. Suppose if you give the same USC here, then it is going to overwrite United States of America first, and this output is going to feed as this one, and now it's going to replace with United Kingdom. So it's an overlap. So the last one is going to overtake, supersede. You can see that there's no, you can see that the USA being replaced with, there is no USA, right? Isn't it? So there is no USA after replacement. So there is no way that it's going to be changed. So I think this is the right one. It doesn't make any sense. All right, the next one is spelling correction. Suppose in some case we need to correct the spelling, the data that we got, we cannot assume that it is going to be clean. And this enchant is library that again you need to install it in terminal. People install enchant. You don't require exclamation mark when you execute in terminal. But in Jupyter Notebook, if you want to execute any terminal-based commands, it is exclamation mark. In some case, it may not, it will work even without exclamation mark. But again, depends on the Jupyter features. But we should not rely on that. So whenever you execute terminal-based commands, use exclamation mark in Jupyter Notebook. Whereas in terminal, it is in terminal, you can directly use this one without exclamation mark. This for spelling correction and the language that it support after importing, I have used list languages to see what all language that it supports. So BW, AU, BZ and all right. So I think I have a file wherein it gives language codes. This is more generic, but it may not suit to that one. We need to refer the documentation of this library to see what these names are. US, definitely it is US. JW maybe Bombay, whatever. Right. So we need to cross check that. Ancient library, Python library, ancient language that supports. That's not been mentioned. Maybe this is not the. Here we have the page. The language supports a tutorial, Power BI FAQ, change log, tutorial. Yeah, somewhere like you need to refer the documentation. That's what I mean to say. All right. The next one here is you can see that I have used the USA. So assume that the data that we got is US, and we need to use this logic to correct every word that we got. So you can see that is the function that I have used, and I can use any word and correct it. I can even loop it to the whole document or corpus, whatever. Let me execute this one. You can see it definitely it got counted definitely, right? We can apply this function to any number of words. We know how to use this comprehension. The same way, we can directly use autocorrect over there. And here we have a tokenize and POS tag. POS means part of speech. So you can see that whenever you want to apply a part, whenever you want to find out part of speech, that is noun, pronoun, whatever. So you need to first tokenize the data. Either you can use word tokenize from NLTK or you can use split with space as separator. Or you can even use relibrary split functionality. It doesn't matter what we use. So we basically idea is to split the data sentence, convert the sentence into list of words or tokens, or we call it as. And here I have given what these names for part of speech list is. CC means conjunction of coordinating. So the complete full form of it. And once we tokenize it, once we tokenize this list has to be provided to Pure Stack so that it's going to come with the actual part of speech. So India, it's NNP. What is NNP? Um, it is NNP, yeah, NNS, NNP, NNPS is proper and plural now, right? So again, this POS tags, whatever the what we applied, if we provide to any chunk, it is going to help us in finding out named entity. Named entity is categories. Suppose what this India is all about. So GP is nothing but um, global what is that? Yeah, geopolitical entity. Countries, states. We are going to have GPs, right? And we can categorize it. So if we feed this data, um, then it's going to be more meaningful. So instead of just giving data as an input, to the data and to the algorithm, we can even feed this additional information so that it's going to yield out a better model. Of course, there's a more traditional old methodology. We right now we are using the base models from the open source like Hugging Face, and we are fine tuning the data set because it's difficult to build the model from scratch. It takes a lot of it requires a lot of resource, and it requires a lot of budget. And there is an alternate. You can see that here we have something called Encore WebSM, which comes from Spacey. This is an alternative for this one, any chunk. So if we load it, right? If we load this, it will even do the named entity. But this does not require to split into words or whatever. I mean to say part of speech and then a named entity. Here, if you provide to this object and provide the sentence, it is going to automatically find out the entities. You can style entity and it's going to find out this. So like India GPE has trade orgs. So there are good number of alternatives for an NLTK library. There's an NLTK, the core library implementation, whereas this one is Spacey, but depends on the requirement, we need to use it. Given the complete explanations, we can see that here. What is locations? There are a few examples. What is GPA, geopolitical entity? Read this. All right, the next one is text cleaning. As I told you that we can either use Pythonic way or pandas methods or RE library.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah,
That
please.
tokenization means splitting of the sentence into a word. Right?
Yeah, sentence to word. Usually token doesn't mean just a word. It can be even a character, a single character, even I, N, D. It depends on the use case. So there is no fixed definition for token. It can be a character, it can be a word, it can be a group of words, it can be two words or three words or whatever. So in generic, if you like everyone, like whoever provides the model, like OpenAI, like, right, ChatGPT, OpenAI, or Microsoft, whoever, they will have their own methodology to do that. For example, if I provide this one to ChatGPT token calculator, they provide a platform for it. So if you provide text here, let me give without double quotes. You can see that it's saying 9 tokens. So how many words we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is considering every word as a token. So it doesn't mean it's going to apply for all the cases. For example, um, uh, Google, okay, want to let's take a random text. Maybe I don't want, I need some info. Okay, let me take this one. Okay. And if you look at this one, it is saying 75 tokens. It doesn't match, it may not match to the number of words that we have. So it changes. You can see that the same color is going to, you can see that, right? So it changes from one to another. Usually token means 4 characters or 4 to 6 characters. There's no fixed definition for token. Usually it's going to be, each word is a token, but not all the case is going to be the same thing. Definition will keep changing based on the context and the requirement. And we have text screening here. So we have used this one already in text classification problem. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to get rid of any blanks, if at all this has thrown any, and we're trying to get rid of special characters. That's the whole idea of this thing. You can see there are exclamation mark, no, colon, period, these sort of things at the rate, right? So you can see that this list doesn't contain special characters. That's what this does. I've used re library, but there is no, there is no such restriction that you have to use only re library. You can use any method, pandas or Pythonic way or whatever. And n-grams here basically means it can be 2 words or each a word. It can be 1 word or 2 words or 3 words or whatever, right? So here we have given n-grams equal to 2. After we got the list of words, you can see here, I have not used word tokenizing. Analytical library has its own word tokenized, right? I've used split method. So it's our completely our choice, whether we want to use read library or analytical library or Pythonic way or whatever. So the best guide is to split into words in a more meaningful manner without any unnecessary stuff. And n-grams are given here n equal 2, which is going to give loud. India has a age rate. So how it's going to be useful? For example, let's take this one. Suppose if I mention like this, so for example, let's take the next word is A. So A is the target column. Just consider that A is target column. In this case, A is, so trade is going to be the target column, right? Next one is going to be deal is going to be target column. So when you keep trying it, when we keep trying with this sort of data, it can guess the next word, isn't it? So in Google Mail, when you write something, it's going to guess the next word. Or even WhatsApp, it's going to guess the next word. How do you think that it has guessed the next words? So we take this data, as a sentence, and convert into each word, no, n-grams. It can be 2 words or 3 words or 4 words or whatever. And we are going to consider this as an input, and next word is going to be the output. So in this case, A is going to be the next target column. So trade is going to be the next target column for this one, for this row, and so on and so forth. We trying with millions of such rows, corpus. Then we are going to get a better model. So Gmail, whatever been suggested, it is in fact a model internally. Even WhatsApp, when you write something, it's going to suggest something, right? Actually, it's an model, AI model. You can see that we have 3 here. And 4, there's no limit for it. Even we can split the data on each character base, and we can judge it. Like in some cases, in Gmail or WhatsApp, when we write something less ER, so it's going to suggest a word. How do you think that it work? Because they take each character as an input, and then it's going to it's going to feed target column as another character, and it's going to suggest that particular word, right? In this case,
Sir,
yeah.
if there are like 4 to 5 words, right? Is there like hierarchy, like this word has to be first one so that it will suggest this? Is there a way? I mean, we
Um,
can write anyhow,
wo-
right?
yeah, in yesterday I have discussed about this Markov chain. So what's that again? So it's the same
Okay.
question. The question that you asked, there is no such restriction that it has to be this way, but again depends on like organization to organization. Person to person. So everyone will have their own way of doing it. So what's the Markov chain principle that I have clearly explained, which won't need to come later. Again,
Okay.
suppose if we have more number of n-grams, it's going to guess the better word, right? If we go with 2 words, of course, there's nothing wrong in training with 2 words, but it can guess better with three tokens or 4 tokens or 5 tokens, isn't it?
There's no limit for the tokens, right?
And there was no limit for the n-grams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can convert, you can see that in this case, I have converted the next word as a target column. Here I have taken 3 n-grams. You can see that the 3 n-grams as input and next one, and can keep training it. Of course, we need to convert this into proper numbers. This algorithms are neural networks, can't understand text data. And we have alternative for this one, n-grams. We have text blob, wherein we can simply give, we can provide the text to text blob after importing it. And we have bunch of properties and methods. Words is going to automatically split it into tokens. It's going to automatically generate tokens. N-grams 2, so it's going to generate 2 n-grams, 3 n-grams, or 4 n-grams. It's our choice. There are various methods in text block. So it's not just limited to NLTK, but NLTK is the most frequently used one. And tokenization, we have a bunch of methods. Don't worry about these methods. I'm going to explain it, but you not to worry about it, because when it comes to practical implementation, there are better ways to do it. So we need to discuss the basics. As reason I have included all this. Let me show you. Okay, maybe I will show you later. There are better methods to do it, but try to understand these concepts. So basically, the idea is there are different tokenizers, different libraries, various libraries that provides. You can see TensorFlow has their own text to word sequence. When we provide text data to this text to this text to word sequence, it's automatically going to generate tokens. The same way, text block has its own, right? And dot words or tokens is going to generate tokens. And tweet tokenizer, for especially for Twitter data, when we extract text Twitter data, it's going to generate Twitter data without removing any emotions. You can see comma, special characters, exclamation mark, smile, and all. Of course, this is we're not going to use this one. And MWE tokenize, the idea is to have a fixed set of words. So for example, Indian Republic Day. So Republic Day is in fact a single phrase. We don't require two different tokens. We can make it as one token itself, which is practically, we are not going to use this one in production or for practical reasons. It's because it's more manual in nature. We need to create object, and if you split it, it's going to work like just like the way any other tokenizer works. But the problem is, the advantage with the MW tokenizer is we can add these ones. For example, if we add this one, so next time when we tokenize it, the Indian Army, you can see that it's a single phrase rather than two different phrases. Indian Army here, and somewhere else, like you can see Indian Army, right? Because after adding it, but you got we are not going to see Indian Army. You can see Indian Army. Of course, there is another place where Indian Army. So it has properly tokenized. But the problem is that we need to manually do this. Something is not possible. You can see Republic Day, I have done it. So we got Republic Day. Right? So yeah, this basically like instead of doing it, okay, we don't, I don't know why I have used this. Maybe I'm testing it as part of testing, maybe Indian Army, where it's going to come as one or not. That could be the reason. So regex token is basically we can provide regular expressions. So we're trying to extract all the alphabets. So which means it is going to exclude numbers and what else? We have special characters. So we can provide regular expression like this. Again, don't worry about, just try to understand the concept. We have better methods to do that. I will explain that in the later part of the course, maybe next week, once we start generate. I mean, we are still in NLP basics parts, right? Next, we're going to start generative AI, LLMs. White space token is going to split based on white space. Absolutely not necessary. We can use split method for it, right? But we have methods. There are options for that. Word punctuation token is going to consider the punctuation. It's not going to remove the punctuations. So again, as part of NLTK. So we can see that punctuations be in there. There is no way that I think unless we want to try on emotions, we don't really use this one. I haven't seen any use case where it requires punctuations. Regex stemmer, again, it is okay. Stemming part yesterday, I don't know whether it is yesterday or day for yesterday, maybe day for yesterday. Stemming and limitation we have used, right? So we have regex stemmer, wherein we can use, we can provide this one when only this part, these sort of things can be stemmed. For example, witnessing, maybe the witnessing is the word, yeah, witnessing to witness. There's no practical use case, you don't use it. So it's better to combine both limitation and the stemmer so that you can, it's going to yield out better results. So don't use this one. We can provide regular expression like this. Wherever it is ing, wherever it has ing, it's going to cut off. That's the whole idea of that. And singular plural, again, there is no practical use case because it's more manual in nature. If you want to convert a singular to plural, let's take day to days, or plural to singular, we can use this one. To singular to plural, we use pluralize. Plural to singular, we use singularize. Do it manually for every words, which is not possible. So don't use this one. Translate is like we have a translate library wherein we can translate from one language to another language. Target language we need to mention. Suppose if you mention text here, um, of course, by default, it's going to be English. That's how we have created it. But what it does is if we provide some text, we can provide the language that we want. So the list, again, I've given it here. I will provide, I think I already uploaded to Google Classroom. Check it. If not, I will provide and I will upload it back again. Okay. So, hi, how are you? Is English. I want to convert into TH. What is TH? I don't know what is TH. What is TH? What is T? Okay. There's no
Thailand.
Hi,
Thailand.
Yeah.
hi.
Do you see that? Okay. So here Thai, right? Yeah, it is going to convert into Thai. Let me execute this. Let me try a few languages. Very rare that you work in other languages other than English. So let me give T. I think it is Telugu, which is my mother tongue. So Telugu, let's try that. Yeah, it is not giving it out. Let me execute this back again. It is not working. I don't know whether it is T or something. Yeah, it is T. I will try Portuguese PT. Portuguese is working. All right. So the next one, I think we already discussed TF-ID factorizer in text classification. The same concept here. There's no difference. I have taken the data and TF-ID vector, I imported it. It's much better than count vectorizer, but there are better alternatives. We don't use TF-IDF in real time production. So there are better alternatives. Don't worry about this. Try to understand it. So we apply fit transform on the data so that it is going to convert into every word to column. But if you mention max features to 200, it's going to pick the most important 200 features. It's not going to yield out all the features. Otherwise, it's going to be around 60 to 70,000 columns. Text data is always robust. So you can't expect some 10 or 20 columns. It's going to be huge. And it's going to sparse. Most of the values you can see zeros, right? It is sparse. Whenever you see data that is mostly zeros, then we call it as sparse data. Right? Any questions in this part? I want to discuss sentiment analysis, but there are few changes been made by after Elon Musk taken over Twitter. So basically the idea is here I have used, if you look at this pipeline, I want to show you how the pipeline works. But again, this is not the real-time use case. I mean to say, this is not the actual way to implement in production. There are better ways to do it. Don't worry about it. Just try to understand the concept. Okay. So this is the typical way that we prepare the pipeline. Pipeline is, so here we have classified the model name. I imported right here. So you can see that whatever the model that I pickle file, right? It's not just pickle model. We need to even pickle the TF-IDF model. So the test classification, if you look it back, we have TF-IDF and the model, right? I pickle both. I got it here and loaded back again, and I'm going to use it here. So you can see that the data I'm going to provide to TF-IDF factorizer is going to convert words to token numbers and whatever that we use it for training, and I'm going to apply predict. So we can't directly apply predict on text data. And before that, I have cleaned some part of it. Whatever the clean process that you have used in the original one, you can use the same thing, but always make sure that whatever the data that that this model has been trained on, it has to be exactly in the same format. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Here I have given now once it has created, obviously it's going to be numbers. We need to give proper names. So it's going to come with visualization. So whatever but the idea is use the model that we trained with. and apply it here. Here, what we did is I'm going to go to Twitter. You need to have Twitter account, Twitter developer portal. So you need to go to developer.twitter.com. You have to go here and create. Yeah, you can see that. Let me delete the existing one, edit it and delete that. Senti. Again, don't worry if you don't understand it because there are better ways to do it. We need to use Hugging Face models. We can use directly in production. It's not production grade, I can say. This is a very old methodology. Here, I'm trying to explain how the typical pipeline is going to be. We need to create add app and then Senti app 333, some unique name. Next, it's going to generate some tokens, right? Don't worry about it. So click on app settings and click on key and tokens, regenerate API key. Yes, regenerate. You need to copy this API key in this one, consumer key. Okay. And API key, this one, we need to copy here. And the same way, yes, I save them. You need to click on this one and copy. Basically, we are trying to extract data from Twitter. So for that, we need all this. So this is what we need. We use TweetP library. You need to install this one. It's not going to be the default one. You need to install it. And OAuth handler is going to send the secrets. I mean to say here it's going to send the secrets, but we need to prepare the auth in a proper object way. So timeout 10 seconds means don't we have TweetP library? Yeah. It's like yeah. And if we execute this, it's going to send request to Twitter and going to send response. But the problem is that after Elon Musk has taken over, unless it is paid version, we are not going to get the data. So earlier it used to be even with free version, with certain limit, we can get the Twitter data. I mean, so Twitter tweets. So only thing you need to do is you need to mention the topic here. If you mention the topic, you're going to get the respective Twitter tweets. And the point is, in production, you can use this code as it is, but there are better methods to do this. My point is that if you want to extract Twitter data, this is this is the mechanism. When it comes to model implementation, there are better ways to do that. Okay. In production, you may have paid accounts so that you can extract it. I have a previously saved one. You can see that, right? On, I think this is more on football, I think. Dictatorship kills. I think this is mostly to Brazil rights, a Brazil political situation. So I have taken that particular thing. I've saved it as a comment. Suppose if by mistake you execute this, you may throw error and you lose this data. I save it as a comment. In fact, I saved here as a list. You can see that list. Something that I'm going to take it in the pipeline, take it to pipeline, right? Model, load the model, take it to pipeline and apply it. You can see here, where is that? Okay, so yeah, tweet data, right? That is the list the list name that I have given, tweet and all. So it's going to loop every tweet and it's going to clean it and going to apply the model. Before applying the model, we need to apply TF-ID to convert words to numbers, respective numbers. And based on like whatever the model that we are trained on, that we have to take the same TF-IDF, whatever that we have used TF-IDF over there, we need to use the same TF-IDF. And finally, we are piling up and to get a visualizations. You can see that political situation in Brazil, that it's more negative in nature. So that is what the sentiment is all about. When it comes to this part, you don't need to worry about it for now because there are better ways to read. But when it comes to extracting data, it's the same mechanism, but you need to have paid account to get the data. This is the way that you can extract API tokens. Okay.
The
Any
same
question?
thing available for Facebook also, this way.
Yeah, everyone will have their, everyone has API access. You need to check the documentation. But when it comes to finding out sentiment of a product, suppose someone has released a product, or someone want to find the sentiment of a certain topic, Twitter is the right place to extract it.
And sir, even
Facebook
that
is not the right one.
Amazon, in the Amazon also some product review they are giving. So from there
Right.
also.
Yeah, everyone will have their, there are two ways to extract data. One is web scraping, which is an illegal way to extract data. For that, if you want to go with web scraping, then you need to learn Scrappy library and Selenium. Those two libraries you need to learn, and that by itself 2 months course. And when it comes to legal way, that is API access, you need to buy, I mean to say, you need to subscribe it, you need to get API access. So even Amazon has API access, and you need to read the documentation. How to, you can see it's not Amazon is going to this one, Amazon API. Amazon, what do we call it as Amazon, yeah. Well, it's going to, there's a confusion. Yeah, Amazon product. Maybe that is the right word. Yeah, he can see product advertisement. Not this one, APIs. There are multiple ways to get access to it, but you need to read the documentation. I think these are third parties. Direct way is, I think Amazon, I don't know, or API. Amazon should have their own API. And again, it's going to be product paid one, not going to be free one. They're not going to provide for free. See, again, you need to log in and get that. Yeah, you need to read the documentation. Of course, everyone will have their own legal way of providing access to their data. Okay, any questions on this sentiment analysis? So go through the script, and of course, this part will throw error. Already save it in the list. Reason I have commented this part because there's a possibility that you lose that list. That's the reason I've added it for later purpose. You can give any topic you want on the top and get the data. But for now, this is not working just because it's not a paid account. So earlier it used to work. And after that, this just focus on this part, how the typical pipeline is going to be, how we can make use of the model. Of course, we will have a full end-to-end implementation of how we can use it in real time. That is different. But this is it, and this will help us to get an overview of how we can use models. We know how to generate models till now, but we don't know how to use it, right? There's one rough, I mean, I think this one good example that will help us to understand how we can apply the models, generated models on text data. All right, that's it for today. I think we have another topic. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, one point that the dot pickle, what exactly that was, sir?
Voice is breaking. Come again.
Sir, dot pickle, you have mentioned.
Yeah, pickle file. Okay.
Yeah, what is that?
What is your question? Dot pickle?
Means, what is that? Means,
It's like a zipping. Yeah, it's like a zip. Like when you zip the file and send it, right? That's the kind of it. A serialized file.
Means like packaging we are doing. So
Yeah, usually the models are going to be packaged either in pickle or bin or PT. There are H5. There are various methods. Your machine learning models are going to be packed with pickles.
Okay.
This is just like zipping the file. There's no difference. Okay. And though it's 9:26, but my intention is to quickly wrap this up. We'll continue tomorrow. We will have word embeddings, and we will have latent dirichlet allocation, which is kind of clustering one, and text data. And there is an alternative for latent dirichlet. So there is non-negative matrix filtration. We will discuss these two topics, and apart from it, we will discuss word embeddings too. How to convert, a better way to convert from text to numbers. That's the whole idea of word embeddings. Already provided in Google Classrooms. Go ahead and watch it if you want. Try it, but if you, in case you get errors, don't complain about it because we haven't completed the topic. All right. Thanks for joining.
Thank
We'll
you,
meet tomorrow. Yeah.